Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to talk about the Amazon series The Boys. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I am your host, Brent Cassina. Got my Tostitos bag on the side over there. But we're going to be talking about something that I just finished watching the first 2 episodes of, and it was so entertaining and so good. This is exactly what the comic book genre needs. This is Amazon's The Boys. Now, The Boys is a comic book series, or at least it was, published by originally DC Comics and then quickly shunted after I don't know what it was, 6 or 8 issues when DC Comics realized it did not want to publish this type of comic book. So then it found a new home at Dynamite, and it was published. The entire run's basically been, printed and reprinted over there numerous times. This is in the 2000s. It was when I was in college. So maybe 06 or something like that. It started up around there. And this is a comic book series that is now a Amazon streaming television show. There is 1 season. It's all available right now. It came out on, I guess it was today. So it's good that I'm watching it soon. And I didn't watch the whole, first season or anything. I'm flying out in the morning to go home finally after 2 weeks on travel. But I did watch the first 2 episodes, and they were fantastic. I believe that I'm going to watch some more before I go to bed, maybe. And I'm probably going to finish it out maybe tomorrow or Sunday. This show is so entertaining and so good. I'm a little burnt out on superhero movies. They've kind of felt blasé, wasn't really in love with Spider-Man Far From Home, even though Endgame was really good. The newest Hellboy movie wasn't that good. So this is it's finally a fresh take on superheroes that knows what it is and has a clear mission, and it's to take the piss out of superheroes, which is exactly what the comic series did over 10 years ago. So the comic book series was written by Garth Ennis and drawn mostly, I think, by Derek Robertson. And I don't know what Derek Robertson's been doing since then. I think he's done a couple issues, but he was doing a lot of stuff for DC, which is where The Boys came up, and then he was doing exclusively that. He was made famous basically by doing Transmetropolitan for Vertigo in the 90s, and The Boys is his second big series after that. I think they did 60 issues. Now, I don't know if Derek Robertson drew all of those, but he drew a large portion of that, and that is to be commended. And he's one of the creators on this creator-owned series, so he owns a large portion of every time it gets reprinted, by Dynamite. I don't know what deal they have going on over there, and hopefully he got paid for The Boys on Amazon, because it is fantastic. And what is great about The Boys, I remember reading the first, 12 issues or so, and this show is exactly what the series was, which was a lot of fun, R-rated, gore, language, violence, just everything you've ever read from Garth Ennis, basically. It did not get lost in translation from comics to television, and that is a nice thing to see. This feels like reading the comic book. This feels like I'm reading it 10 years ago, laughing my ass off, just having a whole lot of fun. So I've talked enough about how good the show is, basically, and how close it is to the comics. So that will make comic fans interested to watch it if they've read The Boys. But for people who haven't read it or just, are not going to read it, what is The Boys? Well, The Boys are a group of sometimes superpowered people, sometimes not, depending on the person. And they're basically the anti-superhero team in, I guess it's New York City. And in this universe, there exists a team called the Seven, and they're basically like the Justice League. They've got a Superman analog called Homelander. There's a Batman analog called Black Noir, which I think he's shown up once or twice in the series so far. There's a new girl called Starlight, and she's just entering the super team and is kind of like our point of view character for everything going on with the Seven and how demented and messed up it is. And so basically it's this team of anti-superheroes trying to take down these superheroes for reasons that will become clear, I guess, as we watch the series further. Our main character, point of entry, is this kid called Huey, and he's played by Jack Quaid, Dennis Quaid, and Meg Ryan's son. He's really good in this show. I have not seen very much of him in other things, but I'm really enjoying watching him on the television in The Boys, so he's doing a great job as Huey. What's also cool is that Huey was originally drawn to look like... Oh, dang it. I'm farting on his name now. I'm blanking. Simon Pegg. Thank you. So Derek Robinson did the thing that like Brian Hitch did with the Ultimates and picked an actor and said, this is our Huey, this is what he's going to look like, and he basically drew Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg got wind of it, gave it his blessing and enjoyed it and watched it, or read the books and stuff. But they never made a movie or anything, and now Simon Pegg's in his 40s. This was almost 20 years ago, so, Simon Pegg is not playing Huey in this show, because Huey was meant to be like a young man. So what's cool is that Simon Pegg plays Huey's dad in the show. So far he's only in a short period for the first 2 episodes. But it's a nice little throwback to the people who have read the books that know that's, in the books you were looking at Simon Pegg going through all this stuff. And his American accent that he does in this show is really strange, but I kind of like it. It doesn't sound anything like what I would imagine Simon Pegg would sound like with an American accent. So, I hope it's Simon Pegg's American accent and not an ADR dub, but, I don't know, it's just odd. So, let's talk more about the world of The Boys. What is this show? Basically, I was texting my buddy Jim, whom you've seen on this channel, and I was telling him that he is going to love this show. He loves the darker takes on superheroes, the demented stuff, the grim and gritty stuff. He's a big fan of Batman v Superman, and while I disagree with him that it was a good movie, I do appreciate how he likes the realism, the grittiness, the darker takes on superheroes rather than the lightness of the Marvel films, even though he does enjoy those as well. So this is straight up his alley. Dark, grim, gritty, funny, and everything you ever want it to be. Like, if you're a fan of R-rated superheroes or think you might be, this is the show for you. So The Boys, as a comic and a TV show, is basically a reflection of what Garth Ennis thinks that superheroes might be like if they actually existed in today's world. If people had superpowers, would they be as heroic or selfless or honorable as the Justice League and Superman and Batman are? No, of course not. That is that is insane. Why would you even think that would be true? People are terrible, people are flawed, and people are messed up. And that is the world in which we are exploring in The Boys. So everybody with powers is out for their own gain, basically, and they use their powers to their advantage, and that is made perfectly clear in this first episode. This is one of those shows that has a pretty pitch-perfect pilot that if you watch the first episode, you're going to know by the end of it, within the hour, whether you're going to enjoy this show or not. It lays everything out on the table. It's a perfect introduction, and you're either in or you're out. Which, unlike Game of Thrones, that pilot took a while to get going, and then, for Game of Thrones, I tell people, like, by the end of the first season, you're in or you're out. Now, that's 10 episodes. This, you're going to watch one episode, and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, I think. You're going to know whether it's for you or not. So, all of these superheroes in this world are messed up. They're not heroic at all. They're just out to make a quick buck, and they're using their powers to do so, and using today's social media age and corporations. There's a corporation, the Vought Corporation, which is kind of like, I don't know if Garth Ennis was reading Watchmen right before he got this idea, but it's like Ozymandias in Watchmen, you know, he was a retired superhero and turned that into wealth and riches as a corporation. This is like that idea taken to the next level, where there's a person who I don't think was a superhero at all, but she's running the corporation and she is running the superheroes. In fact, most of the superheroes work for her. You see things behind the scenes where deals are being laid out on the table of, you know, this city's going to pay this corporation hundreds of millions of dollars. Baltimore, basically, was the one of the first, the first episode to get a superhero called the Nubian Prince to come and be their superhero in Baltimore. And they're talking about the, you know, aesthetics of them, fits your demographic. Of course, this superhero is an African American. They're talking about the inner city African American population of Baltimore, how he's going to relate, and so they're playing on everything that we presume corporations talk about and do when they're doing whatever there is to do, trying to make the biggest buck they can for the smallest amount of stuff they have to spend. So it's really sinister, it's really twisted, and it's really funny and really enjoyable. So I was telling Jim via text, I was like, this is like The Sopranos meets Justice League. Because The Sopranos, and I haven't watched The Sopranos, but I think it's very, you know, from the dark, gory, realistic side of that, crossed with Justice League, because you have the Justice League analogs in here, and but also mostly the Justice League movie as well, or maybe Batman v Superman in that reign, but a Zack Snyder vision of the Justice League, where it's dark, grim and gritty, realistic, ultra-violent, that type of stuff. So that is The Boys, and I think if I say anything more, I'm not going to spoil anything or whatever, but you need to watch it, basically, to get it. So if you're looking for something entirely different, check it out. It's on Amazon, the Prime Video service. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you can pull this up right away in their app and watch it. And let me know if you like it as much as I do, or if you think this is distasteful and disgusting and whatever. If you do like it, I recommend reading The Boys, you know, once you finish the show. The first 8 volumes of this series are on Comixology Unlimited, so if you have that service like I do, you will be diving into the comic book series after you finish this season. You know, and I don't know how long the season's going, but like, there's things happening in the first 2 episodes that I do remember reading in the first 6 or 8 issues I read years ago. So far it's pretty faithful, I think, but I don't know that it's faithful at the end. I mean, they've got other ideas. There's so much they can explore with this world, with reality television and social media and cell phones, and, you know, people always taking pictures and video. That's explored a little bit in the second episode with Starlight. She stops a crime that's not planned, and someone records it on video, and it's kind of like, well, you know, I was stopping a girl from being raped by these 2 guys in an alley, and they're going, well, that's not the video that's on the internet, it's just you beating the crap out of 2 people that say they were getting drunk and having a good time on their back porch. Perception is everything in this world, and this show definitely plays with that idea a whole lot, to a twisted degree. So this is not for kids. Do not let your kids watch this. Don't even watch it when they're in the other room. This show is so demented, but I really enjoy it. I really love it. So The Boys, 2 thumbs up for me. I'm going to watch some more, and I will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. Tell me what you thought of The Boys, and we will see you guys in the Funny Pages. I think I just said that.